Hi. Hey. Hello. It's Sunny, and this might be one of my favorite films ever. Yeah, I know, I say that a lot, but it's true. It's 1000% a personal treasure for me. We've explored the beauty of La La Land and Boyhood before, and the reason I bring those two up is I always see them linked to Moonlight. For Boyhood, which was my last essay, these two are always compared, and it makes sense as both these films follow the same basis of experiencing a young male growing up. Only with my analysis on Boyhood, it was a template film with no story or core to serve as a way for us to reflect our own adolescence onto, which makes it underrated and special. Moonlight, I think, does it differently. La La Land is a very different film to Moonlight, but to those not in the know, at the 2017 Oscars award show, it was originally announced for the top award, Best Picture, that La La Land had won, until it was revealed to have been a mistake and that it was actually Moonlight that had won, which caused not only a big debate about obviously the incident, yet what really took away people was which film was better, La La Land or Moonlight. And both of these films really, they have a special place in my decaying fucking heart. So not only will I not only will I perform an analysis of the beauty of Moonlight, yet analyze which film is truly better. Let's dive into the 2016 modern masterpiece of A24's. Terrell Alvin McCraney is an American playwright who wrote a semi-autobiographical play titled In Moonlight, Black Boys Look Blue to cope with his mother's death with AIDS. Very sad to hear. It was shelved for a decade until it served as well, Moonlight. Meanwhile, Barry Jenkins had just released a debut film, Medicine for Melancholy, and went through many different screenplays he wrote and nothing. Just utter nothing. He really wanted to make a second film and couldn't, until he discovered In Moonlight, Black Boys Look Blue when exploring an arts collective in Miami, and after talking with McCraney, Jenkins got to work. They had many discussions on how they wanted to structure the film, since it was a very unique pace for a story, especially going from a play and to a film, evidently deciding to follow the story of the central protagonist through the eyes of an ally, and take inspiration from Jenkins and McCraney's own personal upbringing. Juan was based on McCraney's half-brother's father and his defense of him, Paula of both their mothers, and the setting of Miami being how they both grew up there. As a Florida man myself, I know the struggle. They got to get this personal and raw film into production once Plan B Entertainment picked it up, alongside A24 also aided it, evidently becoming their first ever production. Yes! So without all that out of the way, let's look into the Moonlight. Barry Jenkins, you mad genius, you. I love all kinds of films, all kinds of stories, all kinds of styles, every feeling. Yet no feeling quite hits like Moonlight's personal and raw feel. This film is so personal, and it's all presented in the filmmaking. Something I don't really bring often up in my essays that is a crucial part of just film in general, yet is always done well, yet here especially is noteworthy as well. The sound design. It's incredible. The way everything drowns itself out. The crowded noises of a restaurant or school. The way everything sounds like yells and small talk in the walls of a house. The way the beauty ocean waves can soothe in an intimate moment between two friends, learning there's something there. It's all beautiful, generally fantastic attention to detail. As we're talking about audio, well, the music, the score by Nicholas Britell is just perfection. The way everything can get violent, everything can be at solitude, everything can be chaotic, the way it doesn't appear at all to add effect to a scene. Everything about it is gorgeous and adds to the film's incredibly atmospheric feel, which is created by cinematographer James Laxton and his artistic vision. The visuals in this film feel larger than life, yet perfectly home in on those beautiful moments we take for granted in life. The way a man can help his fellow kid into swimming in the vast ocean waves. The way a young teen can be so alone in the vast land that is Miami. And the way a young adult drives off to his dream. The way the film captures these gorgeous visuals of everyday life and make it so personal is amazing, alongside the splendid editing that allows the film to flow itself at such a long yet important and never once boring, flow. Transportation into the life of its protagonist with the incredible down-to-earth locale production from street to street, home to home, and face to face, with a distinct tone that isn't afraid to show life's hardships, and with an intimate style all rounded into the visionary direction of Barry Jenkins that makes this film a masterwork in modern indie filmmaking. The characters of Moonlight are just a handful of characters played by a range of talented actors and actresses who are all individually phenomenal. Let's do the usual, bottom to top. We got Terrell. Man, fuck Terrell! Okay, but jokes aside, he works in showcasing how not even when going to school you can escape your problems. Teresa is a perfect character showcasing her genuine support of protagonist Chiron and how she's everything you would want in a mother. A woman who is always there for you, which makes her stand out in the film for how flawed everyone else is on their own. Juan, played by Mahershala Ali, is incredible and truly stands out despite being in 1/3 of the film, as he represents sort of a father figure for Chiron, a drug dealer with a heart who looks out for him and tries to essentially own up to his choices that we'll explore in the next segment by trying to guide Chiron down the right path, something that probably the most influential character in the film doesn't do for him. His mom. Paula is, well, terrible. A horrible mother figure who finds herself hooked on that good shit, and in return causes her to care only about the next hit rather than taking care of her own son, which causes him to be, well, mentally fucked. She's such a surreal depiction of an abusive parental figure by not even being physically abusive, mentally and verbally abusive, hitting Chiron with words and actions rather than actual physical pain. The worst kind of pain. You can heal from physical pain, but you can never heal from the trauma of it. Yet, we have our two real protagonists, Kevin, Chiron's friend, his only friend, the only person he can connect to at all, an ordinary person, an ordinary kid who friended him, an ordinary teen who didn't realize he loved him, and as an adult, still loves him. We also have our star, Chiron, who we can't talk about obviously without the This is probably worthy of a top 5 all-time screenplay. It just hits. Chiron. A wonderful human being of a character, man. It's a love story, a dramatic story, a dark story, a coming-of-age story, a childhood, a teenhood, and an adulthood. A story of a kid I can relate to, because I was that kid. I may not have followed the exact same circumstances, but I followed the exact same emotional outcome. Lost, forgotten, disconnected, alone. Story of this young innocent kid, no different from you or me, who did nothing wrong, but to be his mother's son. A mom who lost herself in her addiction, all by a man who he thought was his friend. A man who may have a good heart, but does what he can to get by. A man who is the cause of all of his suffering. A mom who does nothing but scar him, who broke him. And a man who will never forgive himself for being the cause of a man's self-destruction. That little boy who grew into a young adult, who went to school and could never catch a break, having to live off the kindness of a good woman who was more of a mother to him than his real one. And another boy, but more than just a friend, his love. The only boy that ever wanted to and had connected with him, who liked how he was different, who brought him out, and yet all over his community, his environment, his fellow classmates, it was all lost. Once he lost that friend, enough was enough. He had become who he was. Hard. He entered that school. He walked those hallways. This was it. Game over. No more playtime. I am done. All right. He enters that classroom and he fucking... Lost it all. But it was never forgotten. Not by him, but by that boy. An adult, following in that man's footsteps, but differently, doing right by him. The mother who ruined his life, and yet, he was still there for her, because he's a good man, who was one with his people, and yet, was alone, until that call by that boy, the one who didn't forget. A boy, no more. A man, and in that call, it was his moment to connect once again with a love that was thought to be all gone. He drove, he walked, and he entered that restaurant. There he was. In an instant of examination, they were back again. They talked, and they talked. They drove, and they drove, and they talked again and again. Nothing but smiles, comfort, and connection. The quiet one and the talkative one. And they comforted each other. As friends, as lovers, as humans do. A story of a young boy who went through trauma, who turned into a teen, who fell into that darkness, into a man who found connection once again. Moonlight is a very personal film for me. It's a film that doesn't tell its audience everything, because no great film does that. They bring you in, sit you down, give you that popcorn, soda, and overpriced candy, and let you sink into a film with meaning. A film that has something to say. A film about trauma, darkness, and hope. A film I am. And a film that is me, myself, and I. A film that isn't intended to be accepted by everyone, like The Incredible Boyhood, for you to reflect on your upbringing, but a film that shows the harsh truth of some of us out there that went through so much just to exist. We lost everything, lost ourselves, and eventually, one day, find everything again. Is Moonlight better than La La Land? Truth? No. They are both masterpieces that just so happen to release the same exact year. La La Land, a film that goes outwards and shows our deepest desires, yet how we give it all up to find some sense of happiness. Moonlight, a film that goes inwards and shows the world around us and how it affects us into who we are. And yet, despite no matter how much we fuck up, we can find our sense of peace. In Moonlight, black boys look blue. It's been sunny, and so long, farewell, and goodbye.
In Moonlight, black boys look blue.